My name is Lena, and for 3 years I was the woman Alex kept in the pocket of his life in San Francisco. Not in his apartment in the marina, that was for show, for his tech bro friends and the Instagrammable sunsets. He kept me in the in-between places, the borrowed corners. Our home was a studio above his friend's garage in No Valley. He paid the friend $800 cash a month. He called it our secret treehouse. It had a hot plate and a smell of damp concrete, and the window looked directly into a brick wall. He'd let himself in with a key he kept on a separate ring, always after 10 p.m., always smelling of someone else's perfume or the IPA from a networking event I was never invited to. He loved me only at the level that was convenient. His courage had a strict geographic boundary inside those four walls. Once at Dolores Park on a Saturday, swarming with people who knew him, he saw me from 50 yards away. I watched his face do the calculus. He gave me a tight, neighborly nod, the kind you give a vague acquaintance, before turning sharply to talk to a guy from his sea drowned. My heart didn't break that day. It crystallized into something cold and sharp because I finally understood the blueprint. I was the garage girl, a utility. I wasn't asking for a ring, I was asking for a plan, just one. Let's get a real apartment together in the spring, or I'll take you to my company's holiday party. But he mastered the art of the liquid promise. Babe, just ride it out here until my bonus hits, he'd say, tracing my cheek in the dark garage light. The bonus hit, he bought a Tesla. The garage stayed. He kept me hidden between chapters. I was the footnote to his grand, venture-funded becoming. I was the comfort he could return to when the curated reality of his LinkedIn life exhausted him. He'd collapse onto my thrift store couch and pour his soul out about boardroom politics, and I'd listen, thinking this is intimacy. But it was emotional dumping. He was using my silence as a soundproof room for his fears, then leaving when they were quiet. The crazy truth, the one that sounds like bad fiction, is the specificity of the limbo. I met his mother. Sounds like progress, right? She was in town for a Symphony Gala. He brought me to the pre-show drinks as the family friend who could keep her company while he schmoozed. I sat with this lovely woman at a small table for two, sipping overpriced Chardonnay, while she showed me photos on her phone of the lovely girl from a good family she wished Alex would settle down with. My face smiled. My soul disintegrated. He later kissed me in the parking garage and told me, "You were so amazing with her, you just get me." The cognitive dissonance was a physical vertigo. The leaving wasn't dramatic. It was a quiet Monday. The hot plate had shorted out again. I was eating cold ramen from the package, and I looked at the brick wall outside my window, and I realized I had memorized every stain on it. I was a human being slowly merging with damp concrete. I didn't pack a suitcase, I just stopped texting back, stopped being home. I let the $800 a month silence speak for me. He called me 7 times in one day. The final voicemail said, "Lena, come on, this is crazy. We can talk about this, we have something real." That was the final, breathtaking lie. We didn't have something real. He had a real convenience. I had a real delusion. Clarity came months later, not as a lightning bolt, but as a series of mundane moments where I didn't have to shrink, explain, or hide. It was buying a lamp I loved without worrying if a man would find it tacky. It was putting my own name on a lease for a sun-drenched apartment in Oakland with a view of the sky, not a brick wall. And then came Ben, not in a bar or an app, in the fluorescent glare of a community CPR class. He was my practice dummy. His name was Ben. He fumbled with the plastic airways, laughed at himself, and later bought me a truly terrible coffee from the vending machine. He asked me questions about my life, and then he listened to the answers. He didn't just wait for his turn to talk about his own. The first time he introduced me to someone, it was to his brother at a crowded A's game. He didn't lower his voice. He didn't hesitate. He said, "This is Lena, the woman I've been telling you about. Not a friend. Not Lena, who's awesome. The woman." I felt a jolt, like coming home to a self I'd forgotten I owned. One night, much later, as we lay in my sun-drenched apartment, the fairy lights of the Bay Bridge twinkling in the distance, he traced my cheek, the same gesture Alex used to make. But Ben's fingers weren't claiming a secret. They were reading a story he was proud to know. "What are you thinking?" he whispered. I looked at this man who chose me every day with a quiet, unshakable certainty, who loved me in daylight, who didn't need a separate key ring for my part in his life. "I'm thinking," I said, the truth settling into my bones like a long-awaited peace, "that I finally know the difference between being someone's hidden garage and being someone's front door. History wouldn't remember me as the woman Alex kept. It would know me as Lena, who left the concrete, who reclaimed the sky, and who walked, finally, through a door that was always meant to be held wide open."